Welcome to the Mataverse. Today I invite you to come with me as I build my ultimate Yerba Mate tier list. I recommend you to settle in with a good mate because I managed to find 79 yerbas that I ever took a sip of, and I'm going to tell you a little opinion, a little experience from each of them. So yeah, it's gonna be a long one, but now let's get right into it and describe the tiers we have here. So we got on the top, sip it all. If someone asked me that what are the yerbas that I would agree to drink for the rest of my life. Now the yerbas that I put in this tier are all eligible for that position. They are I could drink them in all quantities. Actually good. Now these are the yerbas that are amazing, I love them, but they just don't quite get there, you know, like I would not agree to drink them for the rest of my life. In the B tier we have Buena Enough. Now these are good enough yerbas. C tier, consumable. These are the yerbas that are not notably bad, but they are neither quite very good. And we have don't try it at home. Maybe in some cases they can be good, but you have way better yerbas out there and you can make way better choices. For the F tier, fecal matter. Now these are the complete undrinkable, not made for human consumption, those kind of stuff. You might be like, well, how can yerba mate get down there? But trust me, it can get that bad. So you're gonna see some interesting ones in this one. And in the bottom we have the question marks. These are the yerbas that I put in here because I will not be able to decide yet, and also those that I just don't remember. I remember I did try them, but I just couldn't form a reasonable opinion of them. So let's go, starting with the first one, Don Leandro. This is the yerba I am consuming right now. It's a kind of yerba that is somewhere in between Argentinian and Uruguayan cut. It has stems, it has big leaves, but it also has a lot of powder. Truly one of a kind. It's like, yeah, so it's dry. It's almost like Canarias. It's a little lighter. It has this Argentinian yerba characteristic. I'm dumping it straight into sip it all. Honestly, one of my favorite yerbas. So, Verde Mate Mas IQ. I wasn't expecting we would get to the don't try it at home and fecal matter tiers so early. Okay, so we have Verde Mate. It's a Polish brand from the famous, infamous Venusti company, a Composta yerba. It's a mix, but it's a rather exotic mix. It is mixed with some brain-boosting herbs like ginkgo biloba and ginseng, even if you drink Compostas from South America. This gives you a whole different level of like fruitiness. It also has this so-called natural flavor, the secret sauce of the Verde Mate and the Polish yerbas. Guys, the thing is that this is still the best out of the Polish clade of yerbas. It goes to don't try it at home, but you should definitely try it at once to see what I'm talking about. It's a very interesting experience. Okay, so next up we have Barao Nativa. So Barao is the top one chimarrão brand from Brazil and all over the world, because Brazil is the top one chimarrão producer of the world. But Barao Nativa, I think, is not their best products. I'm not speaking from a very big experience. I only tried 2 of the Barao chimarrões, but Nativa was definitely worse. It remains this vegetal, rough, lame tasting thing. It takes a lot of time for it to actually start to deliver that chocolatey, sweet, pleasing taste that is amazing about chimarrão. No, it stays in there. There are way better chimarrões than this. Okay, fourth one, Cruz de Malta. If you've been watching Mataverse for a while, you know that I have a bit of a problem with Cruz de Malta, because it has become the comfortable standard online to be recommended as beginners. I think the smoked being of Cruz de Malta deprives it of its potential as the go-to beginner yerba. But I'm not a beginner. So where am I putting this? This is a serious choice, because Cruz de Malta is still one of the most popular yerbas. I'm just putting it to question marks tier right now. I have nothing to compare this to, and I think the right placing of Cruz de Malta is important step in this video. So next up we have Yerba Madre, former Guayaki, and I just got to taste this yerba the last week for the first time in my life, and got to admit it was not bad. When I first took a sip, it reminded me of Enne Park, which is coming up later, one of the best yerbas that I know of. And yeah, Guayaki was somewhat similar to Enne Park, which is very surprising considering it's a huge brand. It's a market-leading American brand. It owns 86% of the US market. How's that possible? I don't know. They mostly sell these canned yerba mates and stuff like that, so it's not this particular loose leaf that rules the US market, but yeah, it was good for the first try. Then I drank it for a second day and I started to feel it a little chemical. So for now, I can only put this to buena enough. Big brands like Guayaki, Prayadito, they get to feel worse and worse the more you drink from them. Whereas these artisanal brands, they get better and better. I don't know why, this is the tendency that I feel. So yeah, not so high hopes for Guayaki, it goes to buena enough. Next up, Paraná, Pura Folha. So this is a Brazilian unsmoked only leaf, pure leaf yerba. We will have some of these, and honestly, I haven't been drinking so much of these, solely because the taste you get when you simply put these unsmoked leaves into a gourd is just not as stimulating as a smoked or an aged Argentinian yerba. It's just not there, you know. But Rio Parana, I drank it almost a year ago, and at that time I wasn't only feeling vanilla in these yerbas. I was feeling them herbal and woody and interesting. Now they all just feel different degrees of vanilla. So my memories of Paraná drive them to buena enough, but higher than Guayaki. Okay, next up, Dorado, the lucky find. I mean, just look at it, guys. This is not a serious yerba. I mean, those are, in my guess, the Niagara or the Iguazu Falls. But how did an American salmon get there? Or what is it, a trout? I mean, it doesn't even live there. So, whatever. And they also have this very serious orange. Those idiots who do orange color in their brands. This is everything that you see from the outside. And probably the main reason why Dorado is not a world-famous yerba, to say the least. But when you try it, when you taste it, I have it right here. This is actually a surprising yerba. Argentinian cut, but sort of, it doesn't have those nice rounded leaves. It has these very roughly cut leaves that are like specks and little breakages of leaves. And it is also a little less smoked than most Argentinian yerbas. Dorado is actually good. Very interesting take on Argentinian yerba. Sort of more vegetal, more wild, maybe approaching the vegetalness of Kraus, the unsmoked legend. Okay, next up, we have Taragui Maracuja. Okay, this is also yerba that I haven't had a lot of times before, and when I had it, I drank it as tereré. And what I remember from it was that it was light and refreshing, just what you expect from Argentinian tereré. It goes to buena enough, but it goes above Rio Parana, Pura Folha. I haven't been experimenting with Argentinian tereré a whole lot. I have tried Taragui Maracuja once with mango juice, and that was otherworldly. Not in the mean that it was deadly, it was insanely good. Okay, next up, Don Lucas. This is gonna be a quick one, guys. I have tried it once, a few months ago. I had one single refill, and it tasted incredibly strange. It's the kind of strange that it's like too strange to be precisely the taste of that yerba. So I suspect I was just getting some refill that stood there for too long, the bitterness accumulated. So I'm putting this straight into question marks. I could not form a viable opinion. Okay, next up. What do we have here? Verde Mate Dulcessa. Now this is a serious one. If you wanna drink it as yerba mate in a gourd, bombilla, things like that, it's gonna be fecal matter. But there is an alternative way of preparing mate. Basically preparing the mate with milk. I tried it with coconut milk because I don't drink cow's milk, but a friend of mine did try it many times with cow's milk and he is a big fan of this. So I think that it definitely goes to consumable, if not buena enough. I don't really drink mate with milk, that's the thing. So for me, it's kind of not very much a big player, but I'm gonna tell all of you that if you drink any tostada yerba, you should try this mate de leche. Okay, next up. Now this is an interesting one. Do you recognize this brand? You don't, because this is Prana. It's a random bio shop brand in Budapest, Hungary, that happened to be the first form of yerba mate I've ever tasted. The way it went was that I just got interested in mate. I went into the local bio store and this is what they had. Loose leaf yerba mate, unsmoked. I prepared it and guess what? It was amazing. The first ever mate I had. I drank it with like 60 degrees Celsius water and not even with a bombilla. I was doing this tea steeper in a plastic box, this very messy technique. But it tasted amazing, and probably if I started with Cruz de Malta, that was my second yerba I've ever tasted, I would most likely not be here. So Cruz de Malta was horrible on the first try, whereas this random bio shop thingy was amazing on the first try. It is going question marks. I did try this yerba, it was amazing at one point in my life, but if I tried it now, I really don't know what will it give me. Okay, next up, Camino Nuevo. This is also a yerba I haven't tried so much, but I have drunk maybe one full mate of it, and I got a few refills from my brother's mate when he had it. And I have to say that this yerba has a lot of potential. Camino Nuevo is the new path. Ironically enough, this is a path that's carved into the rainforest, destroying the trees. Not the kind of new path I would be aiming for in the future, but this yerba is definitely worth a try. I don't know exactly if it is here or here, but I have a feeling that it is going to be actually good if I drank it for a few more times. Okay, pink cachamate. I have had a full tereré from this yerba this morning. All I do is that I put it into a glass, I refill with cold water, no mountain, no nothing, just the simplest tereré you can get, and it's like very, very good. Amazing tereré. Does it get up to sip it all S tier, or it's only actually good tier? It doesn't get up to sip it all, it's only actually good. If you want to drink it with hot water, then it tastes something like a little Christmas vibes, gingerbready taste. Okay, next up, Yaguar Mango Tango. Here we got it so early, the triumph of this video. This should have been the final boss, this guy. Okay, so Yaguar Mango Tango. Are they being serious with this one? I mean, look at the face of the Jaguar. Look at the misery. And you know what? It tastes exactly like that. I just see no point of drinking it. It is somewhat fruity. Maybe if you're a very, very, very beginner, if you don't know what mate is, then you might get fooled that this is mate. It has this very awkward sweetness that is, to me, after 1.5 years of constant mate drinking, it's just off. It's just fecal matter. I don't want this thing. It just never comes to me that I want a good Yaguar Mango Tango, you know. Okay, next up, Abuelo Yerbatero. So this is again an Argentinian yerba, and this was also just some random find. I go up to a web shop and pick the yerba that is the least likely to be picked, and when you look at the packaging, like, it couldn't get uglier, could it? With this probably negative value marketing they have, their yerba did give me a whole set of different tastes and the whole set of amazing tastes. It gave me vanilla taste and a park-ish, but it did give me some very vegetal, like radish or some lettuce. It's not exactly the yerba that I would drink every day. It goes to buena enough, but on the very, very top level of that tier. Okay, now we have Enna Park, a very organic, very natural, very harmonious with nature kind of yerba. I obviously haven't been in their factory and their places, so I cannot know for sure, but judging by the taste, I can believe that it is really processed differently, because Enna Park just gives such a different degree of pleasure than other yerbas. Further from being a taste, and it evolves to be a feeling in a way. It's hard to describe, but it definitely tastes like the euphoria that you get when you eat vanilla. Downsides somehow is that it doesn't extract flavors very quickly. A good way to come around that is actually to do your initial steeping of the mate with your mate temperature water, not with some room temperature water. If you do that, you actually get a good taste immediately. Even with that sort of drawback, Enna Park is an easy S tier, no questions. It is even better than Don Leandro, to me. Yeah, absolute premium yerba, amazing choice. Okay, next up we have Barao Menta Limon, one of the best tererés that I have had on its own with water. It's a Brazilian tereré, so it's made of unsmoked yerba, and it is blended with mint and lemon. I've been loving it for like half a year. I haven't been drinking so much of it, but this has become the yerba that I give to some random people. Just show them that, man, yerba mate is this. It is capable of being so delicious so easily. You literally just dump into a glass, put in a bombilla, cold water, and it gives you a full power lemon iced tea feeling, amazing strong flavors. But there's a catch. A few weeks ago I discovered that it contains flavorings, maybe not artificial, but it is not literal lemon and literal mint, but it has them as flavorings. It kind of turned me down on it a little bit, but taste-wise it is very good. One of the best tererés with pure water. It goes to actually good, but it's inferior to pink cachamate. Amanda Despalada. Okay, I tried this yerba once, but I did try regular Amanda several times. And honestly, this whole brand, Amanda, is the one Argentinian brand I spend a lot of time living without. But I shouldn't have. It is one of the best balanced. Like when you look at pure flavor, might be the best Argentinian yerba taste-wise. And the Despalada version does get there. When I drank it once, the water was too cold. It was the end of that mate. I drink like 4 or 5 refills from the end of that mate. But it was amazing, even then. And I think that Amanda Despalada has a very, very high chance of getting to sip it all. If I drank like half a kilo of it, a whole package. But right now I can only put it into actually good. So yeah, there we go with Amanda. Pajarito Menta Limon. Okay. This is a Paraguayan tereré, which means they smoke the hell out of it, but this makes a very, very good combination for tereré, because when it's very smoked, it extracts the flavors very quickly, very easily, and it gets powerful taste in cold water after relatively little steeping time. And I haven't tried it with lemonade and things like that, but it must be amazing with that too. It is actually good. Yeah, so it goes to actually good. Is it better than cachamate? That's a hard one. I think it is. I think it's just more stimulating. Okay, next up, another tereré, but this one from Brazil. This is Barao's pineapple tereré. And first thing coming into my mind, this was a very big disappointment. The first thing I noticed on the packaging is that it contains artificial pineapple flavoring. Why would you do that? I mean, people drink mate because they like natural things. We do not need artificial flavorings in our yerbas. Barao, wake up, man. Don't try it at home. And even with that, it's artificially flavored. It doesn't taste good. It feels artificial. So next up, we have blue cachamate. I covered that yerba in a recent video of mine. You can check that out. It's about the 5 best yerba mates for beginners. And this was a very highlighted yerba because this is a blended yerba, blended with a lot of herbs, mint, eucalyptus, and chamomile and things like that. And it's a very smooth, pleasant yerba, both hot and cold. I prefer it as tereré, but it's very good as hot mate as well. You can expect it to be a little overwhelmed by the added herbs for the first few refills, but other than that, it goes to actually good. Is it better than the pink one? As tereré, it's not better than the pink one. Whereas as hot mate, it is better. It goes there. Blue is better than the pink one. Okay, we have green cachamate. Now this is a little worse than the others, mainly because it contains lemongrass, which turns overly sour and overly acidic over time. But if you drink it relatively quickly, or if you drink it as tereré, this is a good mate. It goes to the very top of Buena Enough. Okay, next up we have Cachamate Mundial Suave. Now this is one of the best Argentinian yerbas I have had. So there is Cachamate, there is this brand that is famous for its compuesta yerbas, the blends, and this one is a pure yerba. I don't know exactly how is that possible, but it's so perfectly balanced and it's like a little smoky. It is smoked, but it's just the good way. So it delivers smokiness, somewhat like Cruz de Malta, but this one just tastes amazing. It goes straight into S tier. No, it's not better than Leandro. Next up, we have yellow cachamate. If you see my Christmas series, I did try it in that series and I gave a little more review of that. In short, it is just overwhelmed by the fennel. It is, again, a compuesta yerba, it has fennel and it tastes like a meal. It tastes like some fennel-y chicken breast. It's just not good. It is consumable, but it is inferior to everything else in consumable. If you make it through the first few refills, it gets to an interesting tasting, maybe more balanced brew, but why would you? You know. Okay, here we have Barao Tradicional. Now this is the Barao product I've been talking about. What is special about the Cimarron is that it is slightly smoked. I don't know if it's due to that or due to some other processing methods, but Barao Tradicional is the Cimarron that I found the easiest to extract that cacao-like, euphoric, very strong flavor that you can get from all Cimarrons, but this extracts it relatively easily. It goes to actually good. Surely goes there. We have Red Canarias, famous, infamous. It has been criticized for being horrible, and I have to join the criticism team on this one. Not because I think it is horrible, but I think because it is a very untamed, maybe poorly designed combination of flavors. It has red tea, sometimes referred as puer, which is known for being mushroomy, rough, aged, and it also has this gotu kola herb, which I don't know what it is. If you're a very experienced matero, you might find it interesting. So where am I putting this? Consumable, or don't try it at home? I would say you should not try it at home. It's like way worse than all the other Canarias Hierbas. So next up we have Mañanita. It's an Argentinian Suave Yerba with very big pieces of leaves, and it is like markets itself for containing very low amount of powder. This is BCP, Bajo Contenido de Polvo, which means a low amount of powder. I took one refill of this mate and it was bad. Cannot form a valuable opinion about this. Next up, Armino Classica. That is the yerba that I tested blindly head-to-head with Canarias, and I just mixed it up with Canarias. I thought that this was yellow Canarias, which means one of two things. Either my taste is completely screwed, or it is as good as yellow Canarias. I have to hope for the second option, so this thing goes to S tier. We have CBSé Pomelo. So this is CBSé's blended yerba that has grapefruit. I tried it from a grapefruit, from a hollowed out grapefruit with grapefruit juice, and it was very grapefruity, but nothing else. When you drink it as hot mate, the grapefruit turns into this bad kind of bitterness. You can make it work as tereré, especially if you drink it with fruit juices, but there are way better tererés out there, weak, consumable. Okay, so next up we have Del Cebador Sabor Intenso. This is again a Uruguayan yerba with the most ugly packaging you can imagine. Once it tasted like raisins, you know, dried grapes, like all the way, raisins, all the way. It was very intense tasting. It was not bad, but it's just not as good as Canarias. But it's the Uruguayan yerbas. You can fool anyone. Give them Del Cebador and say it is Canarias, they're gonna believe it, so you can never tell the difference. But I think that when I know it is Del Cebador and when I'm not fooled into that it is Canarias, it goes into actually good tier, and I think it goes below Amanda Despalada. Yes. Don Basilio. Now that's a very special yerba, one of the most unique tastes I have ever came across. I got to know this yerba from the Hungarian mate community figure, the Mate Manush, said it was the best yerba he tried in his life. He labeled it something like that in his web shop, and I did try it, and it was not the best yerba I've tried in my life, but it was very characteristically sweet and sour, not like the Chinese one, but sweet and acidic in the same time. I'm thinking about putting this into S tier, but no, it goes into the top of the A tier. Next up we have Natura. Okay, so this is one of the brands that I just cannot place it anywhere. Is it like a designer brand? Is it an actual Argentinian brand? It's kind of in between. Strange naming, strange packaging, and honestly, when I tasted it, it is this unsmoked Argentinian yerba. Should be something like Kraus, but just not quite there. Somewhere above Tostada. Next up, Don Basilio Selezione Special. Now, as big of a surprise and as big an amazement was the traditional Don Basilio, Selezione Special was that much of a disappointment to me, because this yerba is the sweetest I've ever had, but sweet not in the good way. It's so sweet that it's almost disgusting. It's like you've been eating honey. It's honestly something that happens to experienced materos, get to the bitterness tolerance levels that you actually feel mate as being sweet, and then when you get a mate that's compared to the others sweeter, then you feel it overly sweet compared to mates. So yeah, Don Basilio Stracciatella Speciale is one of those. It goes to consumable, below Barao. Okay, next up we have Yaguar Winter Prune, another wonder by the brand Yaguar, and I'm putting this straight into fecal matter. This has a high chance to be the worst mate I've ever had. This is sort of a winter mix with some apple flakes and some gingerbread flavorings. I mean, of course it's something you can sell to people, but not those who want quality and good taste from mate. Clearly not those. But we have a competitor for the worst yerba of my life, because we have Rio Parana Energia. This is a guarana blended yerba, but for some reason, they blended it with raspberry flavoring. The most artificial toothpaste tasting misery you can imagine. And they blended it with the guarana yerba, and you end up with something straight up undrinkable. It might be even worse than the Yaguar Winter Prune, but if I had to choose, would you drink this piece of for the rest of your life or the other thing? I would choose to drink Rio Parana over the Winter Prune. CBSé Energia Guarana. The top seller yerba of almost all European websites and probably American websites as well. And honestly, I don't really see why. They have a good packaging, they have guarana, which is there in energy drinks, but people don't even know most of the time that guarana is in energy drinks, so I don't know what is it doing at the top seller level. As hot mate, the guarana just ruins the whole thing, and aesthetically, it just doesn't taste right. I have said before that this guarana taste is very characteristic. I can see myself getting addicted to it if I realized how much caffeine it gave me, but at the moment I'm not addicted to it, so this thing goes to don't try it. No, it's consumable, but no, it's better than the yellow Cachamate, and no, it's worse than the Pomelo. Sara Suave. Wow, one of the best yerbas of my life. It was the yerba I made my first ever short video about. It's an awkward piece of you can check it out. Sara Suave is a very special Uruguayan yerba because it is suave. What does that mean in case of Uruguayan yerbas? I have no clue, maybe more stems. You cannot really find a lot of valuable information about these yerba mate processing mechanisms, but Sara Suave is very, very special. It tastes flowery, like balanced kind of sweetness and bitterness and smokiness. Amazing, amazing yerba. It goes high S tier, above Don Leandro, but below Anna Park. So next up we have here Fronteras. This is a new wave yerba mate. I'm very pleased to find these kind of brands that take marketing a level further from what you see in these South American marketings. These packagings are just beautiful, but like actually, not in the way Canarias is beautiful, like Canarias is iconic. These are actually good looking packagings, and this brand Fronteras makes a lot of compressed yerbas, a little bit like Cachamate. The particular yerba from them I have tried was ginger and mint. I did try it both as hot mate and aesthetically, and in both cases the ginger was a little too much to me. So it doesn't go into S tier, it doesn't go into A tier, it goes to the very top of B tier. Certainly better than green Cachamate. Among the brands on the top of my bucket list, it has a huge, huge potential. Next up, Barao Export. This is one of the yerbas I tried long time ago, and what I remember from it is that it was extremely strong in terms of caffeine effect. Despite that it's an Argentinian style yerba made by the Brazilian brand Barao, it kicked me. 1 or 2 refills and I was feeling full-blown caffeine overdose. Although my tolerance wasn't that high then, but really, trust me, this is a strong thing. From the taste, I honestly don't remember so much, so I'm putting this into question mark tier. So next up we have a true legend, an actual completely unique yerba, completely unique taste, effect, and it used to be an innovation in its time. As far as I know, the brand Kraus invented the smokeless Argentinian yerba. Now there are many other brands doing it, but I think nothing comes close to Kraus in its own category. It's also vanilla-like, grassy, woody, hard to describe in words, honestly. It is absolutely a go-to yerba of mine. I drink it on some slower days or when I need a soft focus during exams, during extreme studying, during extreme mental effort, when I don't need the full power and comforting effect of a Uruguayan yerba, I just need mental clarity. In those cases, Kraus Organica is my top choice. It goes to S tier. Does it go to the top or does it go below Anna Park? It goes a slight degree below Anna Park. Actually, the closest thing to it is Anna Park itself, but Anna Park is a degree wilder, if it makes any sense. Kraus is easier to access. You get full taste from the first refill, somewhat more lightweight. But yeah, Kraus, amazing yerba. Next up, Mate Amos. This is again a premium yerba. They claim to be somewhat like Enna Park, organic, very high attention paid to being in harmony with nature. I tasted it and it's good, but I would not place it near to Enna Park or Kraus. The question is, am I placing it into S tier or it is only A tier? No, it is only A tier and that is below Don Basilio. Next up, Pajarito Tradicional. Now, as opposed to Kraus and Mate Amos, which are these clean, unsmoked yerbas, now this is the polar opposite. This is the smoked, brutally harsh, relatively fine cut, although it has stems. It's a Paraguayan cut, and it is the #1 brand of Paraguay. I did drink it as hot mate a few times, and it's just not for anyone in their first, I would say, 2 or 3 years of drinking mate, but I don't see myself ever evolving to like that as hot mate. It's just too harsh, way too harsh. But as tereré, I usually drink it with plain water, like I do with tereré, and it gives the water a kind of a creamy, nice feeling. It's not delicious in a way other mates are delicious. It's like not that stimulating, not that huge palette of stimulation you get, but it's actually a good thing to sip while you're doing something, you know. And it's very easy to prepare, so it goes like buena enough straight below Fronteras. Okay, as we're moving on, we have Cabral Paranerviosos. So these Paranerviosos yerbas are Uruguayan yerbas that are made for the nervous. That's what it literally means. And a good example for those is Canaria Serena. It's the same category. These are the yerbas that are blended with these relaxing herbs like mint and maybe lemongrass and things like that. This Cabral one, I only tried it once and it was kind of good. Maybe I'll be putting it to S tier, but I haven't tried it enough, so I'm putting it to question mark tier. But in the next yerba review tier list that I make, I promise I will be putting this somewhere very high. Here or here, most likely. But now, it's just question marks. Next up, Kraus Pionero, a controversial one. Because some people say that Kraus Pionero is Pionero because it's for the guys who pioneered their mate journey, aka they're beginners. But the thing is that Kraus Pionero is way less smooth and gentle compared to the Kraus Organica. It's way rougher, it also has a rougher cut. I don't think it is called Pionero because of that. And it's actually, I think, worse in all criteria compared to the regular Kraus Organica. The fine cut doesn't provide the extra flavor people would expect. It goes to, I'm thinking about consumable or buena enough. No, it goes to towards the end of the buena enough tier. And is it better than Guayaquil Yerba Madre or is it worse than that? No, it's slightly better. Next up, we have Pipore. Now that's an Argentinian yerba I got seriously disappointed with. This whole brand, I tried 2 of their yerbas, both of them are on this list and both of them have been very disappointing to me. This one especially, I just didn't like it. It was bitter but not in the good way, it didn't have any sweetness, it was just bad. I'm putting this to don't try it at home, but it's somewhat better than Pink Canarias in my opinion. Okay, next up we have Pajarito, the actual beginner offender yerba in my humble opinion. Always top 3 on the Argentinian market, very mass produced, very big brand, large scale production. This very artificial direction they're heading towards is not what I associate with. I begin to feel more and more often these chemical vibes in the taste of Pajarito. Maybe it's some plant protecting herbicide they're using, but I mean it must be for human consumption, it must not be dangerous, but it just feels chemical. So I'm not gonna rate this very high right now. As a beginner, it is still a good choice, but I don't think it is very sustainable to drink that. So I'm putting it to the very end of actually good. Or maybe just buena enough. It's only buena enough, but it's better than Fronteras. Yeah, there we go. So we have CBSé Tropical Fruits. Now, if you want something that feels like plastic, you got a good option here, because this is full of artificial flavorings. This is like a multivitamin thing that you get. It is delicious because it was designed to be delicious, but it's not natural delicious. I just feel that it's not real, you know, and I don't like that. So I'm putting it to the very end of consumable. If you want to take the most out of these CBSé tropical fruits, I recommend you to drink it as tereré, because with the cold water you're sort of more used to this very tropical fruit flavoring kind of stuff. But I honestly don't really recommend this yerba if you're seeking a authentic taste. Next up, we have Yakuin Nativa for children. I guess it's a moida grossa, which means it is coarse cut compared to its Chimarrón. I honestly didn't enjoy this Chimarrón. It was the worst Chimarrón I ever bought in my life. It just didn't want to extract flavor for some reason. It was likely due to the large cut, you know, the bigger surface area of the leaves. Chimarrón already struggles to produce strong flavors even when it's very fine cut, but with a coarse cut it is especially true. It goes to the very bottom of consumable tier above yellow Cachamate, right there. Next up we have Sol Mate. Now this is another brand of the Polish Venusti company, the master of artificial fake yerbas, and this is somewhat more natural. The Sol Mate is a premium yerba. They created it as their premium organic yerba lineup, but despite that it is organic and it should be natural. I think its taste is nothing special. First up we have the simple Elaborada con Palo, so it's with stems, an Argentinian cut. I tasted it once, but I clearly remember that it was very underwhelming. I was expecting to get something like Kraus, but it was very far from that. It was the closest thing I can name to it is Natura. It was very similar to Natura, but it was worse, and it was worse than all these CBSé things. It goes to the very bottom of the consumable tier, I feel like. And we have from the same brand, we have the lemon one. And this is a degree better, I think, because it has real lemongrass in it. And I remember it was fair with hot water, and even then I was drinking it with 70 degrees Celsius water or something like that. If you take the temperature to like 60 degrees Celsius, or you drink it as tereré, I feel this yerba having the potential to be delicious, so I'm putting this to consumable but a little higher. It goes maybe here. Yeah, it's right for it to be here. We have another instance of Pajarito Tradicional. I'm just gonna put it in here. No, I'm not gonna be able to destroy this image. Sorry guys. No, I'm just putting it in. Yeah, I got rid of it. Next up we have Yaqui Pure Leaf. Now this is one of the Brazilian unsmoked only leaf yerbas that I talked about that have tasted very interesting to me. They've been herbal and vegetal and all things, but today they just all feel like different degrees of vanilla. Somewhat beginner friendly because it has zero smoke truly, and it's not even aged. It's basically Chimarrón that is not grinded. That's it. It's that simple. It even comes in those vacuum packs that Chimarrón does. But where am I gonna rate this? Here, right here. It's better than Don Basilio and Especial, because Don Basilio and Especial is somehow off. This is not off, this is just uninteresting. So, next up we have White Canarias. I had a full mate of White Canarias this morning. It's another morning than the one morning I mentioned at the beginning of the video. I'm not drinking 4 mates a day. So yeah, I had one mate of this morning, and this is a version of Canarias that was the last for me. I tried it the last time. I didn't really enjoy it first. I felt like the taste was all over the place, they just didn't fit together. But now as I'm drinking it, I'm starting to get a hang of it. It has ginger and green tea, leaves this somewhat refreshing ginger taste in your mouth. It is nowhere near to things like Canarias Serena, but it's a good mix. Goes to the top of good enough. It's good here. Funny, the two ginger yerbas are right next to each other. So next up we have Yaqui Tereré. Now this is a Brazilian tereré with stems, unsmoked, and it contains no flavorings, no nothing. When you drink it with water, it is like the plainest mate you can get. So it's like the simplest package you can get from what people call yerba mate, but with that it's somewhat flat. It has a nice soft focus kind of effect, but it doesn't taste very special. But I did try it with hot water in my Christmas series, and that was very much more interesting than the cold water version of it, because it did extract those very vegetal and raw flavors that I used to love about these Brazilian unsmoked yerbas. I would choose this over Guayaki, I'd choose this over Kraus. No, it goes here. Next up we have Elda Magdalena. Now this is one of the newest yerbas I've tried. I had one mate of it, and you have to know that this is a yerba made by the Kraus company, so the same exact company that makes Kraus Organica, but this is a stemless yerba and it is finer cut, so it's kind of like an Uruguayan version of Kraus. What would you guess? How does it taste? that good. Yes, exactly. It's as good as Kraus, but in the Uruguayan form. It has the same, I repeat this word 100 times, it has the same vanilla flavor, and it's just so perfectly balanced and stimulating. Guys, I'm putting this straight into sip it all tier. S tier, and I'm seriously thinking about maybe this thing is gonna be better than Anna Park, because Anna Park is the best package of taste, but it's like not as very fulfilling, as stimulating as a Uruguayan yerba is. But El de Magdalena has the flavors of Kraus and Anna Park packed into it, but it's also Uruguayan cut. It's a hard decision. The reason why I'm not putting it above Anna Park is that I simply haven't drank so much of it, but I really want to get one for myself, and maybe in my next tier list, this is gonna be the number one. Next up, we have Cuero Cuero. I was saying that the Taragui Nativa was the most disappointing Chimarrón I had, but maybe this even underwhelms that one. This Chimarrón tasted purely vegetal, purely grass-like, but it didn't even change at all. So I expect from Chimarrons to start like grass and then evolve to chocolate flavor and things like that, but this doesn't. I haven't had so much of it, again, of this one, so I'm not gonna put it so low without all the information, but I'm putting this to consumable, certainly consumable. I was still somewhat better than the Taragui Nativa. Mid-C tier. Rosamonte. One of the most popular Argentinian yerbas and maybe among the most overrated yerbas, probably after Cruz de Malta. This is a seriously smoked yerba that is very popular, and for some reason it is given to beginners because it's popular frequently, but it's not at all for beginners. And on top of that, it's not even for intermediates. It's a seriously smoked yerba, almost Paraguayan-like. And I didn't even like it. So I don't even think it's very delicious, although I haven't had it for a while. So maybe I would like it more right now, but from my memories, this doesn't get higher than consumable, certainly. But it was better than Natura. You get still something of an interesting taste from the smokiness. It is very walnut-like, but not for regular consumption, definitely not for that. So next up, we have Unión Suave. A very generic Argentinian yerba, according to some people, but I think that this yerba has some very characteristic and very one-of-a-kind taste. First of all, it gives you the chocolate powder feeling that you can only get from Chimarrón and even just sometimes. It gives you that in all quantities, but at the same time, Unión is just not very reliable, in my opinion. So the thing is that I have a mate made of Unión, and some refills of it just taste off. So where is this going? Below Playadito. If I had to choose one, I would choose Playadito. Next up, we have Sara Compuesta. This is the green Sara Compuesta, which contains ginger, chamomile, and melissa. Maybe that's peppermint, if I remember that. No, that's pepperina. When I was first drinking this yerba, I hated it. It felt like fishy to me. It just didn't feel right. It felt like paper. But right now, as I was drinking it a little more, like I almost drank that half a kilo of it I had, and it gets better and better. It's nowhere near to Canarias Serena. When it comes to Uruguayan Compuestas, this is not the first one, by far. It is somewhat better than White Canarias. I prefer this over White Canarias. The free ginger yerbas, again, head-to-head with each other. Next up, we have Taragui Energia. Now, this is a yerba that they already discontinued in Argentina, so it's no longer produced, but in Europe you can find it in large quantities. It is marketed very heavily, maybe the last stocks. And this is a unique Argentinian yerba. It is said to be harvested in the summer, and for that reason it is supposed to contain more caffeine. And I was trying this yerba for the first time in my I tried 7 caffeine levels of Yerba Mate video, and honestly that yerba did give me a unique caffeine kick. It was uplifting and powering, and it made me like spin on full power for a workout for like 40 minutes. And it really does give you a unique taste, unique caffeine effect, so it certainly goes to actually good tier. Below all these, taste-wise it is special, but not very, yeah, it goes right here. The taste of it can be off. It can taste like this blunt papery, but its effect carries it. Next up we have Red Sara. This is the most underwhelming Uruguayan yerba to me, because I was drinking Sara Suave and I was loving it. And I was expecting Red Sara to be something like that, but maybe more interesting, maybe more bitter. But no, Red Sara gave me only paper flavor so far, except One day my brother was drinking a Uruguayan mate and he made me try it. And I was like, what yerba do you have in this mate? And he was like, guess it. And I drank it, took a sip, oh man, it's Canarias. You know, it's a Uruguayan mate, it has to be Canarias. And he said, yes, it's Canarias. And I kept drinking it, I identified all the taste notes that I get from Canarias. And then he said, I was joking, it was Sara. I was like, what? This yerba used to be horrible to me. And then I'm literally mixing it up with Canarias heavily, like no question. I was sure it was Canarias. So what's going on here? Are Uruguayan yerbas all the same and we are just faking all these taste notes and things like that? I don't know, man. But I'm gonna stick with my opinion of this yerba when I do know what yerba is this. And in those cases, it's just not very good. So it goes to Buena enough, not higher than that, over Kraus Pionero, that's for sure. Next up we have Tucangua. Now this is a yerba I tried only once or twice in my life, and from the toucan I was expecting it to be somewhat like rainforest-like, so natural, unsmoked or something, but no, this yerba is heavily smoked, and not in a good way. I didn't like it at all. It goes to consumable because it was definitely consumable. It didn't taste horrible, but I just didn't like it. It goes below Natura. This is the same group. Oh, next up, Salam. This yerba is a whole set of cognitive dissonance because Salam means peace in Arabic, and their website also markets this yerba as a gentle, smooth experience for those who prefer mild things when drinking mate, but this is the heaviest hitting caffeine powerhouse I've ever had. And it does have a clear reputation among the people I know who tried it that this yerba is just a whole other level of caffeine brutality. It is Argentinian origin, but Uruguayan cut and smoked like a Paraguayan yerba. So when you smell into it, it feels almost like La Rubia and these brutal Paraguayan yerbas, but it's cut so fine like Uruguayan yerba. Taste-wise, I didn't find it impressive. It's really overwhelming in all terms, but the thing that it is so interesting and so special carries it somewhat higher, but it's not actually not good. If you ask me, it's not actually good. It's like, I drink it for the plot, you know, not because it's good, but because it's so insanely strong. Next up, we have Verde Mate Despalada. This is my second ever real yerba mate I got after Cruz de Malta. When I drank Cruz de Malta, I realized that I don't want smoked yerbas, so I got Verde Mate. It couldn't be greener, right? It's even named green mate. At the moment, I was enjoying it because I had nothing better to enjoy, but even then, as I was tasting other yerbas, when I still had it and I had the point of comparison, this was inferior. So it goes to the very bottom of consumable. Next up, we have Yaguar Super Extra. What an amazing name. It's so convincing, right? You cannot not buy something that's called Super Extra. No, I'm just kidding. This is actually not a very good yerba. It is by the Brazilian brand Yaguar, but it's made the Uruguayan style. That's what the PU1 means. And this is a yerba that tastes straight up disgusting to me, like consistently. I was drinking it for a long time. I have been having the package for a long time, and it keeps getting worse and worse, maybe. It tastes like, somewhat like milk chocolate, maybe, but it's disgusting. It's straight up, it tastes like vomit. So, yeah. There we go. I had some people in the comments saying that they actually like this yerba. They're loving it. So maybe something's wrong with the batch I got for myself. There is a chance for that, but in my experience, this yerba is a weak, don't try it at home. Barao Tradicional, an Argentinian yerba. As I said when I was talking about the Despalada, this is an amazingly balanced yerba. It's the same company that makes Canarias. The Barao company that makes Amanda is the exact same company, and I think it does resemble Canarias taste-wise, but it's given in an Argentinian package, an Argentinian lightness. Yeah, I just love it. It is actually very good. Does it make it to S tier? No, but it makes it to the very top of actually good tier. I think it's better than Don Basilio. So next up we have Cachamate, the white one. This is the mate that I'm drinking right now. It is blended with 3 different species of mint, regular mint, pennyroyal and peppermint. And this is a very chill kind of mix, no harsh tasting herbs, nothing very edgy. It is relaxing and nice, both as tereré and as hot mate. I don't think it's a very perfectly balanced combination, but it gives you a fair, good enough flavor. I'm placing it above Playadito or below that. It remains below Playadito. Yerba Mate El Fuego Energia Guarana. This is the yerba that was the star of my caffeine levels video, because this thing is blended with guarana and guayusa. For those who don't know, guarana is the world's most caffeinated plant. It's a fruit that looks like a bunch of eyes. It's scary as hell. And guayusa is a relative of yerba mate that lives norther, more in the Amazon basin, and it is more caffeinated than yerba mate. It has twice as much caffeine, if I'm not mistaken. This thing is taste-wise not very impressive, but effect-wise, it does get you there. I do feel the guarana caffeine effect in here, and maybe the guayusa caffeine effect as well. It gives you a sort of three-dimensional caffeine effect, if that makes any sense. So it is by far the best designer brand I have tried before. By designer brands, I refer to things that are clearly made for the European market. So I'm rating this to buena enough, but it's right here. Okay. Curu Pimenta Boldo. This is the world's strongest tereré, I bet you. It has mint and boldo, but in such quantities that the mint feels like you had a full toothbrushing, and the boldo feels like you've been eating a spicy slice of meat. It's a harsh combination when you take it expecting the mildness of a tereré. And if you want yerba mate flavor, it's a bad choice again, because the added herbs are so overwhelming that you will not feel any mate taste at all. It also has a lot of powder, so it actually gives you a caffeine kick as tereré. But if you're not expecting clean yerba mate, and if you're not expecting mild tereré, it gives you an interesting flavor, especially if you combine it with lemonade and things like that. So I think that this yerba actually has a lot of potential. I personally do not like it so much, so I'm putting it only to consumable tier, probably there. Yeah, I'm putting it right there, but you can experiment with it. It's an interesting choice. So, keeping with our theme, we have another Paraguayan yerba, Kairi. Have you ever heard of this brand? No, neither have I. It's another experiment looking for the brands that people will not ever come to the thought of trying. I mean, look at that package, it's so unserious, somewhat goofy in the same time. And taste-wise, this thing was unfortunately very disappointing. As hot mate, it's purely horrible, and the tereré is just purely underwhelming. So yeah, Kairi unfortunately doesn't go very high on this list. It goes to the top of don't try it at home. Next up, La Merced Campo Sur. Now this is a very hot find, a very interesting find by me. La Merced is a premium brand somewhat, but the Campo Sur is not very expensive. It is produced on the southernmost regions of Argentine. This is what it's called, the Campo Sur, which means the southern fields, something like that. I think this is the overpowered big brother of Playadito. So it has the same peanut feelings, but this is way more balanced and somewhat even sweeter and much more stimulating. I might be putting this to S tier. No, I'm not putting it there because I haven't been drinking so much of it, but I'm putting it to the very top of A tier. Is it better than Amanda? Maybe not. If you're a beginner and you want some actually competitive quality yerba that is good for beginners, this is it. Very good choice. Next up, La Rubia, a Paraguayan yerba, but one I would actually recommend you to drink with hot water. Not so overwhelmingly strong like Pajarito and things like that. Still way there on the stronger sides. I would not drink it on regular days of the week, but the times when I choose to drink La Rubia are in extreme conditions. When I go for a hiking in very cold, or when I have a brutal workout or something like that, La Rubia is so smoked that it extracts its flavors and antioxidants and compounds very quickly, and it acts fast. This autumn I did a hike up to a mountain and it was extremely cold and it was horrible weather and I felt miserable. But when I got to the top, I made a mate from La Rubia and it put me to my place in like 20 seconds. I took 2 refills and I felt instantly comforted, feeling alright again, and somehow this yerba tastes better when you're in bad conditions. When I drink it in my room, it's just overwhelming. My body just doesn't want it. But when the things are like you actually need this kind of a boost, it's making itself delicious. It goes to actually good tier. right below Don Basilio. Pantanal Origen. The most extreme chimarrón I have tried. This is a very niche plantation that produces this yerba. It is said to be located 1200 meters above sea level, which is a lot higher than most other plantations, I think. But the taste of this yerba, I think, is not revolutionary by any means. It is a good chimarrón, but it takes a lot of time to start to extract the actually stimulating chocolate cacao powder flavors that I love about chimarrón. It takes a long time for it to do that, but for some reason the first few refills from it are not tasty, but they're extremely strong caffeine-wise, so you got to be careful with it. So you cannot rush with the refills to get to the delicious part, because you will get over-caffeinated. You have to drink exactly 1 liter of water from a mate of Pantanal to get to the delicious part. No joke. But when you get there, it is very, very good. So I'm putting this into actually good tier. Yeah, right there. It's a good place for it. Next up, we have Pipore Suave. This yerba just fooled me completely. I was believing that I was gonna get some greenish tasting, very suave, very light kind of thing, but this is bitter as hell. When you drink it, it is rough, it is woody, it is bitter. It's sort of like, I can compare it to Kraus Pianero. It is woody and natural, but not in the good way, not at all. So where am I gonna put this? I'm thinking about putting this in a don't try it at home, but no, it's better than that. I'm putting this above Sol Mate, because I can see Pipore getting delicious, but if you're looking for a suave yerba that should mean mildness and beginner friendliness, this is not that. This is very far from that, so I'm putting it right here. Next up, we have Taragui, the #1 brand of Argentina, and I actually haven't had a whole lot of Taragui for my life. I drank it maybe only once, but when I drank it in that occasion, it felt like default Argentinian yerba. When someone tells you, okay, give me Argentinian yerba, what does it taste like? It tastes like exactly like that. It is the default, it is the standard. It is nothing special, it is good enough. I'm putting this right here. I haven't had so much of it, but it's alright. Okay, we are arriving to the end of this tier list. There are 3 yerbas left, and these are very interesting ones. Canarias, the most overrated brand. Maybe not overrated, but the highest rated brand, for sure, among all the brands. And is it actually good? I have to say, it is actually good. I love Canarias. It is my go-to comfort Uruguayan yerba. It is the reference point for me. I compare everything to Canarias, and I don't know if that is because I was drinking a lot of Canarias for my life. I was drinking like almost 3 kilos of yellow Canarias and almost 4 kilos of green Canarias throughout this 1.5 years of me drinking mate, and I just keep drinking it. I just keep buying it. I always have Canarias in my cycle. It goes to S tier, no questions. Does it go above Kraus? Yes, it does. It does. It gives you such level of stimulation and all the strong, intense flavors coming together. It's hard to even talk about the taste notes in Canarias, because it is really Uruguayan mate. That's how it tastes like. Amazing Uruguayan mate. Next up, we have Edición Especial of Canarias. This is aged for 3 years, whereas yellow one is aged for 1 year or maybe 1.5. The 3 years of aging, I think, doesn't do a lot of good to Canarias. Somewhat more fishy, umami-like. It might be only me who feels umami taste in mates, but to me it tastes somewhat like good sushi. This is insane I'm saying that, but it tastes umami and it is very salty. I heard people calling it tasting like coffee, and it does have some coffee flavors, but I think it's not close to yellow Canarias. It goes to Buena Enough tier. Is it better than Salam? Yeah, it is actually similar to Salam. So the yerba I can name that is the closest to Salam is the Canarias Edición Especial. So last but not least, we have Canarias Serena, but before that I'm gonna rate Cruz de Malta real quick. So on this list, where does Cruz de Malta go? I think that I prefer Playadito over Cruz de Malta. I prefer White Cachamate over Cruz de Malta. I prefer Union, I prefer Taragui, all these things. Maybe if I had to choose, no. But if I had to choose Cruz de Malta or Pajarito, I would stick with Pajarito, I would stick with Green Cacha, I would stick with Abuelo, all these yerbas. If I had to choose El Fuego or Cruz de Malta, I would choose El Fuego, but Cruz de Malta is better than Red, Sara, so it goes straight there. And for the last one, Canarias Serena. The reason why I left this one as the last is because this is the yerba I drank the most quantities of. I'm above 4 kilos of Canarias Serena throughout my life, and I just keep getting it, I just keep drinking it in my workout days, in my post-workout recovery. This is my #1 post-workout recovery yerba. It is relaxing, but it gives you the boldness and the fulfillingness of the Uruguayan cut that people desire and that I desire as well. It's an amazingly balanced yerba. Is it overrated? Yes, even then it is overrated because it was chosen by the Argentinian football team. I don't know how much the Argentinian football team researched to get to the choice of Canarias Serena as their main team powering drink. I think they got to a good conclusion with that. It goes to S tier easily, but does it go above Elda Magdalena? That is the question. Is it better than Elda Magdalena? No, I think not. Elda Magdalena had such a amazing combination of Kraus flavor and Uruguayan cut. I might just be momentarily hyped about it, but it was a whole other level. But yeah, Canarias Serena goes, I think, above Yellow Canarias. And with that said, this is my Yerba Mate tier list. I think this is a very fair picture of how my taste evolved over these 1.5 years of drinking mate, and this is a nice display of my enthusiasm towards this drink, because it is insane that I tried 79 yerbas over this relatively short time period. I mean, most people don't try so much yerbas in their whole life. So guys, what do you think? I would really be curious about your choices of yerbas, especially the ones that you would put into S tier. And in the future, I really want to make some community tier lists, so let me know in the comments if you would be open to things like that. It would consist of community polls, you naming the yerbas that you like the most, and I would construct the tier list based on your opinions, and I will attach my opinion about what I think about the community choices. So yeah, again, let me know in the comments, would you be open to that, or you would prefer these frontal one-sided videos that is only my opinion. So guys, thanks for sticking with me over this very long journey, and thanks a lot for watching, and see you in a different metaverse.